We're with Coach Gundy as the Cowboys get ready for a showdown with the Tulsa Golden Hurricane on Friday at Boone Pickens Stadium. It's an interesting dynamic, Coach. You've had, obviously, a week off in between games, but with what happened at Oregon, you have so many new players and new coaches. As the head coach, have you had to be a little more attentive to how guys are doing just because, honestly, you maybe don't know them as well as some of your other teams, just to make sure that mentally they're in the right place?
Very much so. I've had to spend more time than ever just overseeing everything because when you think about it, I don't know the coaches really either.
Right.
They're new, and when you don't play as well as you want to, you have to watch them and make sure everybody's reacting in the right way. And then obviously with the players. In most cases, we know our players over a period of time. They're in our culture, but these guys did a nice job of responding throughout the game. There wasn't a lot of finger pointing, and that's difficult for young men when things are going south. But they kind of held on, and they played hard. That's one thing that's impressive is they competed and played right till the end. We didn't have anything to show for it, but that was a positive that I was able to talk to the team about.
It's interesting with new coaches. You've talked about many times since that game that you felt like tried to do too much, a little bit too complex. Is it hard, though, because you have new coordinators and new coaches, you want to give them some rope and let them try to do the things they want to do, but yet you have to manage it. Is that a little tricky when you're getting started, understanding, okay, I've got to let them do their thing, but I also have to be aware of when maybe they're taking things too far?
Both. And, again, I'm feeling my way through with the new coaching staffs, but Coach Meacham's the head coach of the offense, and Coach Grantham's the head coach of the defense, and I can have some input, but we need them to be able to do their job, and that's what we hired them to do, is to let them settle in. And as I mentioned afterwards, I felt like I saw us trying to do too much, and the coaches try to do that at times instead of executing if they feel like that we need to hit this to score points, or we need to be able to hit these blitzes to stop them. And so that was as much my mistake as anybody's. But the one thing I shared with them is what we've talked about is that with Coach Grantham, and each week they need to get better. And as we move forward, I would expect them a year from now to be even more better than they are, just based on them adjusting to us and the players learning the system.
On offense, what's the flavor of the offense going to look like? What's its personality, if you will, going to be?
Well, we're not going to get out of our box too much. We do have to make good decisions and put our quarterback in a position to have success based on his experience and doing what we need to do to protect him. It's important to protect our quarterback. But we still have to be able to rush the football. And then we want to be able to get big plays. You still have to get the ball down the field some, but rushing the football and playing smart gives you the best opportunity to score points.
When we come back, we'll look at some of the big plays in the recent history of the Cowboys games against Tulsa. Stay with us. We thought we'd look back on some of the big plays in the Cowboys' recent history against Tulsa. And, Justin Blackmon, coach in 2009, was involved but not terribly involved offensively. Of course, Brandon Whedon, this was the first year he was a starter as we look at this game from 2010. But we're getting a preview here of what was to come for 2 years.
Yeah, it's really nice ball right there. Obviously, it's putting right on the money. He's 10, 20, 30, almost 50 yards in the air, and nice over-the-shoulder catch by Blackmon. Those guys were pretty special. That was just kind of the beginning of it,
Yeah, a lot of fun times. And the thing about Blackmon was, I just remember in the preseason camp in 2010, he just seemed to go to a whole new level and stayed that way for 2 years.
Yeah, it was interesting with him because we redshirted him in his first year, and he didn't do a lot. And then all of a sudden, he bloomed into being one heck of a player.
And the next year, we thought, what the heck, we'd kick off at 12:05 a.m., and of course, it didn't matter to Justin Gilbert what time of day or night it was. He had the capability to do this.
Yeah, he's special. Obviously he's a first-round pick, high school quarterback, not very highly recruited. We took him from an athletic standpoint, ended up being a great player. And guys that can do things like this, run away from him, make him miss a tackle and run away from him right there. They're making another guy miss.
Yeah, what a bizarre night that was, kicking off
crazy.
at 12:05 a.m. because of thunderstorms. Okay, so let's jump ahead. More ordinary times, and you want to talk about long-distance combinations. How about Mason Rudolph and James Washington? Boy, it's amazing to think back on all the guys you've had.
Yeah, these two were special for 3 or 4 years together, and James Washington obviously wasn't highly recruited at all. And then, to be honest with you, Mason wasn't really either. You know, he came all the way from South Carolina, but those two were able to do this a bunch and had great ability and could get the ball thrown down the field and go get it.
Yeah, those two running that post. It was a beautiful sight.
Yeah, it sure was. We did it a bunch, and then you almost look back and think we didn't do it enough.
Well, defensively in this game, the thing is, you think about some of those defenses, there were a lot of big plays made. This is Kenneth Edison Magruder taking 182 yards to the house.
We used to joke about him. He was in the right place all the time. When the ball was on the ground or tipped or something, he was always standing around there ready to pick it up and make a play, and he obviously made a big one here.
So the long touchdown run as the Cowboys rolled to victory, and now we're going to jump ahead to 2019 as he finishes off that run. And I think about 2019, I think about, oh my gosh, it was hot. Well, so was Chuba Hubbard, 75 yards.
Well, this is when we started to realize how good he was and just how beautiful it was watching him run. Like, watch him open up right here. And I always said he reminded me of Secretariat because in the horse, once he got out there and got going, he was gone.
Yeah.
And he could pull away from everybody at any time, any place. And, he had a special ability. He could put it in another gear.
Well, and it's easy to see why he is rising as one of the outstanding running backs in the National Football League. And speaking of that, a guy who got his first touchdown of the year last week for the Baltimore Ravens took this one for 90 yards, Tylan Wallace.
Yep. He's another good one. We've been blessed with lots of receivers and quarterbacks, and here's the inside box fade, and used his body and blocked off the defender and was able to grab it and take it the distance.
And he was a little different than some of the other guys that we saw, different than James, different than Blackman, but good in his own way.
You're right. He was a leaper. He could take the ball at the highest point, and was fast, but not extremely fast.
All right, so let's quickly go back to 1987.
You went way back here. Yeah.
Who is that guy?
That's good stuff there.
It is.
Yeah, this is one. This is one of the ones that I tell my boys to look at if they want to see a good football play.
Look at that.
At some time, somebody put a watch on it. I don't remember. I want to say it was 8 seconds, maybe. I'm gonna run it back myself. I kind of enjoy watching it.
You run it back as many times as you wish. See, your brother, he couldn't do that, could he?
No, he couldn't do this.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here.
There's a lot going on, going one way, then circling around, going another way, then another way, then back out.
Okay, at what point in that are you starting to identify, okay, I've got something here? How quick is that decision making?
Well, about right here. When I pump to give myself some room right there, now I can see somebody open and was able to work out for us. I think that's the fullback.
I think it is.
That was Garrett Limbrick. He started in the backfield. Back then, fullbacks didn't catch any passes. No, that was Mitch Nash.
Okay.
So he was the tailback on that play, which I don't think many tailbacks caught the ball 30 yards downfield in the end zone, especially back in the 80s.
No, I don't think so. Maybe we could go reenact that on the field sometime.
I hope we do it Friday night.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah.
For Coach Gundy, I'm Dave Hunziker. Cowboys in Tulsa on Friday, and we'll see you then.